Breaking news, Lions fans. All hope may not yet be lost as the Bengals have announced that they are going to allow Trey Hendrickson, their all-star superstar pass rusher, to seek a trade. Could the Lions pounce? We're going to talk about it, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So folks, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to take too much of your time with this one. It was just announced not that long ago that the Bengals are allowing superstar pass rusher Trey Hendrickson to seek a trade. Apparently, Trey Hendrickson sat down with the Bengals top brass. He apparently made it clear that he was either, wanting a new deal or he was wanting to seek a trade, whatever the case might be. The whole point of the matter is that with the Bengals allowing Trey Hendrickson to seek a trade, this is by far the best potential option that the Lions could potentially have to get a superstar pass rusher, so that way, as some Lions fans have been wanting, they can pair somebody who is a real monster off of the edge to become a bookend talent opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Now, why is this big news? Well, the reason why it's big news is because of what it could potentially mean for the Lions. We obviously already know that the Lions have been trying to, make a trade happen because they were considered the most aggressive team trying to trade for Myles Garrett. As it currently stands, the Browns have no interest in trading Myles Garrett. And as we know, Max Crosby just signed a brand new contract yesterday. So let's understand something here. Trey Hendrickson is currently the best pass rusher that is available to the Lions right now to be traded for, where the actual team organization has stated, yes, we are willing to trade this player. Now, why is Trey Hendrickson such an attractive, such an appetizing offer for the Lions? Why is he somebody the Lions should absolutely potentially want to seek? There's a couple of reasons. One, Trey Hendrickson is going to cost immensely less than what it would cost to potentially get a Myles Garrett. Number one, the Browns don't want to trade Myles Garrett. So there would already have to be a massive package put into place for them to even consider something like that. Number two, Myles Garrett still has a pretty substantial contract left on his thing. So there would probably have to be a reworking of a contract put into place. That's not the case with Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson, even though I think he's 2 years older or a year older than freaking Myles Garrett, Myles Garrett, like I said, still has that contract. Trey Hendrickson only has a 1-year deal on his contract. Now, granted, that deal does carry an 666, I'm just going to round up to $18.7 million cap hit. So what would that mean? The Lions would have to do one of two things almost instantaneously. One, they would have to rework that deal, give him a new deal to spread out the cap hit, or the other option is they could release Zadarius Smith, freeing up $11 million worth of cap, if I recall correctly, thus kind of almost offsetting that cap hit in essence. It would only be at that point then like a $7 million cap hit by trading Trey Hendrickson for Zadarius Smith. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love it if we could keep both and pair them with freaking Aiden Hutchinson. That would be elite. But if you're trying to make this make sense as quickly as possible, as easy as possible, releasing Zadarius Smith or potentially trading him would make a hell of a lot of sense. So then that way you would free up enough cap space to where the effect of getting, Trey Hendrickson wouldn't be that big. But at the same time, as much as I think Zadarius Smith is a good pass rusher, Trey Hendrickson is a definite upgrade over freaking Zadarius Smith. And here's how I know this. If you take a look at Trey Hendrickson's stats First and foremost, over the 8 years that Trey Hendrickson has been in the NFL, he has garnered 77 sacks. That's almost 10 sacks a year, folks. That's just some quick math. You got 77 sacks, you got 8 years, that's almost freaking 10 sacks a season. So that's number one. Number two, Trey Hendrickson has got a very good track record over the last couple of years of being very available for his team. Over the last 5 years, Trey Hendrickson has played in at least 15 games of the regular season. That's pretty damn good. That means he's very reliable, he's durable. You don't have to worry about him potentially getting hurt all that much. Number three, Trey Hendrickson, like I said, he's younger than Zadarius Smith in the sense that I think, like I said, Trey Hendrickson's 30. I think Zadarius Smith is 32, about to be 33. So if you were to get Trey Hendrickson, you could then sign him to a 3-year deal and thus say, okay, we now have two superstar edge rushers opposite of one another. We've got one lockdown already for 3 years. We're probably going to get Hutch locked down here pretty shortly. So now you've got these two bookend edge rushers underneath the cap, underneath your contracts for the next couple of seasons. And when you think about it from that perspective, it's absolutely awesome because think about this. If you were to then get Trey Hendrickson, you would be pairing him with his former guy that he was with in Cincinnati in DJ Reader. You'd also be pairing him with obviously Hutch, but you'd also get him with Aleem McNeil. Dude, that would be the best freaking front four, not only in the NFL, but it would be the best front four I think Trey Hendrickson has ever worked with. That would be an absolute nightmare for quarterbacks and offensive lines to try and handle because it's like, okay, you've got four guys who can instantaneously cause a hell of a lot of problems across the entirety of the front. And if the Lions decided to blitz linebackers, safeties, there would be a hell of a lot of problems because now all of a sudden, how do you cover all those guys? How do you pick all them up in a blitz? You couldn't. You would have an absolutely just monstrous front four. It would be an absolutely wonderful pairing. And the reason why I'm saying that and why I'm so excited about this is because, well, let's think about this. Due to the fact that Trey Hendrickson is 30 years old, due to the fact he does have a 1-year deal that's going to have an $18.7 million cap charge in essence, you're going to have to bring down your asking price a little bit in terms of a trade. Where, freaking Myles Garrett would probably cost you at least 2 or 3 first-round draft picks. I think the Lions could probably make a trade for Trey Hendrickson for probably a second or a third. And hey, if you wanted to, you could then trade opposite Zadarius Smith back to the Bengals so that way they weren't losing out on an edge rusher. Because, yeah, Zadarius Smith is still accomplished. He's still pretty damn good. So now it's like, hey, you know what? You're not just losing a pass rusher. You're getting a pass rusher back. You're also getting a decent mid-round draft pick. I think it would work out well for the Lions. And then the Lions at that point, they've upgraded their edge rusher opposite of Hutchinson. They still have a number 1 overall draft pick, a number 1 draft pick to then go into the draft and get a guy to, work underneath Trey Hendrickson, develop him, get him better, so on and so forth. Plus, it takes the pressure off of somebody having to come in right away and make a difference as a rookie. That's something else to consider here as well. Because, like I said, Trey Hendrickson stays on the field virtually all the damn time. He's not missed a whole hell of a lot of time. So with Hutchinson and Hendrickson, you'd have the double H club in essence, applying pressure off of both edges. You'd have McNeil and Reader in the middle. It would just be an absolute, just wonderful thing. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, again, think about it. Hutch was winning his freaking pass rushing. He was winning his pass rushing sets at like 25% last year. If you were to take a look at PFF and take a look at Trey Hendrickson, if you adjust how it is and you go to 50% of the maximum pass rushes for the entirety of the 2024 season, Trey Hendrickson was tied 3rd highest. He was winning his pass rushing sets at 20%. That is just below Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett. So if you were still highly set on getting Garrett, you're not losing a whole hell of a lot when you go to Trey Hendrickson. That's how good Hendrickson is. Plus, on top of that, it's still in the same ballpark as far as age. you would be able to get a decent amount of, leverage to work that out because, hey, the Browns don't want to trade Garrett. The Bengals are willing to trade Hendrickson, and you wouldn't have to trade as much draft capital away in order to get Hendrickson since the Bengals are saying they're willing to listen to offers. And then, on top of that, the way I look at it is, for those that think the Lions have to get a pass rusher like a freaking Myles Garrett, or in this case now as we're talking Trey Hendrickson, you get those two guys on the same field, Hutchinson and Hendricks, the Double H Club, oh good hell. You would definitely have probably the best 1-2 punch edge rushing unit in the entirety of the NFL. And again, you still have McNeil, who is an excellent pass rusher up the middle as well. So you're bringing a pass rushing element literally from both sides up the middle, and then you can blitz anybody and whoever hell you want to add even more pressure. If I was Brad Holmes, knowing that the Bengals have officially stated, yes, we're allowing Hendrickson to facilitate a trade, I would be calling Hendrickson, I would be calling the Bengals ownership and be like, okay, what do we need to do to get this what do we need to do to make this deal work? I'm willing to trade you a second-round pick. I'm willing to trade you a third in Za'Darius. Whatever you have to do to make this work, because this is a trade I can 110% get behind because it's affordable. It makes a hell of a lot of sense. It instantly upgrades the Lions, and it accomplishes, making the fan base happy because it's like, hey, Hendrickson is a name that we talked about last year before the Bengals gave him that one-year deal. So it's like, okay, this literally checks every single box that you could possibly want. So for me, I'm a high proponent of this trade. Because this is a trade that I can actually get behind and see the logic behind without it costing the Lions an arm and a leg. This makes a hell of a lot of sense in my opinion. So, having said that and presented my argument, I'm going to end this episode and say thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these three things, like, comment, and subscribe. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, I want to highly encourage y'all, please make sure you hit that bell notification icon so that way you never miss any more content that I push out. Also want to highly encourage y'all to share this content, whether you share it here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. The more you can do it, the greater the channel can grow and spread. And with that being said, I hope you all got something out of this content. I hope you all enjoyed it. Whether this is the first time you're watching me, you guys have been watching me forever and a day. That's my absolutely fervent hope and prayer. I also hope everyone out there has got something in their life that makes them happy, makes them smile. God bless, my friends, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.